Viewers of the DVD, thank you very much. Thank you very much for buying the DVD, for one thing, unless you stole it, in which case, shame on you. But thank you also for exercising this option, the making of this particular episode. What follows, can't really say it's a typical House episode, partly because I'm directing it, and I'm not a typical director because I'm in it. You probably worked that out for yourself. But nonetheless, it's close to being... and I'd also say that we don't do typical episodes, I hope. Each one has its own little wrinkles and ways of being. But this is what follows is really how we go about the 8, 9, 10 days. In my case, it was 9 days. 9 days to shoot one episode of a television show called House MD. This way. Very good.
Background?
Do I say action and then have the first line? That seems weird.
Or not?
No, I like to say action. You say the first line. Okay. No, you say action.
All right. You say action first.
All right. Off you go.
Background and action.
The hospital story, I picture being sort of slightly overexposed, and I picture the apartment being slightly underexposed, and there being a sort of density to the apartment that maybe gets more dense as the story progresses. Directing is the best job going. It really is the best job going. It's hard, and I suppose the hard side of it I'd forgotten, but it is an absolutely thrilling challenge. It sort of calls upon, I know of no other job that calls upon such a variety of skills. And I use the word skills loosely because I'm not claiming to have them, but I love it. I think it's absolutely fascinating.
He's always had very much a director's eye toward the scenes. And that's been the case from day one. So when the idea came up of Hugh possibly directing an episode, I didn't hesitate. It just seemed to make complete sense.
Welcome to episode 19, everybody. Episode 74. The C Word, written by John Kelly and Marquis Jackson. To be directed by Hugh Laurie.
Biggest response to the script when I first read it. I loved it, by the way. I thought it was very, it's unusual in that it's sort of it's almost like two short stories, and they're not really even woven together. They just happen in parallel. They're two separate worlds.
House taking time off is a bad sign.
A bad sign? You think the apocalypse is coming because House wants to be there for Wilson?
Yeah. You're new.
We were kind of under the gun for this episode because it was right around the time that we were going to start this that we found out this would be the final season of House. And for the people that have already seen this episode, this sets up the events that will lead eventually to the series finale.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Everybody get a production draft? Came out yesterday?
A lot of the skill of directing, certainly in television, where time is so short, is how can we accomplish this in the shortest route from A to B? How can we tell this story, this particular part of the story, in the most efficient way?
We'll basically all be looking this way from this position, and then we can do a walk over there and...
All right, here we go, folks. Hugh's gonna watch you jump off. There he did it. This is so crazy. Did you see it?
Yes. I would say of the many delightful things about directing, I think the first and most obvious one is to see a group of incredibly skilled people collaborating to execute a single idea that you've had. That is an immense honor and a great thrill. The first day is quite a thrill, I must say. It seems as if within minutes of arriving and within minutes of starting, I looked to Robert, the first assistant, and say, how are we doing? So, oh, we're a couple of hours behind. We've only been here 5. How can we be 2 hours behind? But that's how it seems.
The setting for the teaser kind of was born out of the storyline for our patient of the week and the characters that kind of exist that storyline.
Come on in, gather around. What I want everyone to do is go from that leftmost picnic table and go find yourself some area where you might be hanging out with your kids or your family or your friends.
Teasers are usually the only time in the episode where we kind of get out, you know, and see the outside, you know, because so much of it takes place in the hospital. So, no, so this is great.
The carousel was fun because it is the carousel in Griffith Park. It's iconic, and location managers want to hit all those iconic spaces.
Yes, we had a lot of kids, and we had a dog. Those are the 2 things they always tell you to avoid. Wrongly, I would say, because the wonderful Rachel, who plays Emily, could not have been more A, skillful, and B, delightful to be with.
I want to go on the merry-go-round.
Roll now, please, rolling.
The dog only had to catch a Frisbee and slightly let us down. He was very lovely, I mean, adorable.
It was like about the 3rd or 4th take. The dog got it, the Frisbee was the right trajectory, and we moved on and we were happy.
Good, Casey, help!
Let's go to the carousel, guys.
We're going to be doing a little bit of a stunt over here on this carousel. And what happens in story is we have a little girl that's riding the carousel, and her father is watching her, and he's actually videoing her. And she goes around a couple of times, and she seems to be fine, having fun. And then all of a sudden she's gone, she's disappeared. And of course he panics, and he runs to the carousel, and he jumps on it when it's going full speed, which is, on this carousel, is quite dangerous.
Action.
Stop the ride!
Oliver, wait. Okay, keep looking. There you go, he's coming up again. And 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. Go!
We've had wonderful opportunities to do very interesting looking teasers and, lead ins to stories.
You okay? Yeah, that was fantastic. Really nice timing. Really nice timing. That was just like a nice rhythm. It was, you saw his panic. What's he going to do? What's he going to do? I completely bought it.
It's always an amazing thing at the end of the day when you get the scene in the can, and I pat everybody else on the back and say, good job.
When I was getting a nosebleed and I was on the floor because I fell off the carousel and I was all bloody, it was very sticky because it's syrup.
Is that all sticky? Feel crunchy?
Uh-huh. I feel icky. You're definitely taking your bath tonight.
One more of those, please. And action. Keep rolling. Let's just do one more just for the heck of it.
Hugh really does challenge himself to give more than the script is requiring. So it doesn't surprise me that he would have in the back of his mind, I'd really like to direct myself in an episode of House.
Acting is an incredibly difficult job. I think that Hugh makes it look easy. He's a natural director, there's no doubt about it. And I think he brings out the best performances in everyone.
He is somebody who sort of, I feel, can't walk away from a scene until he really feels like we've gotten it, until he feels like, the bar has been set high enough and everybody's stepped up to it.
It's not going to be possible, is it, to actually sort of center up there. When you see the operator, Tony, and Donnie, the focus puller, and Gary Williams, the dolly grip, the 3 of them working on a camera move. Donnie's got a tiny depth of field to work with, and the whole thing is pin sharp, and the move. It's as if those 3 brains have become one. And they're not even able to look at each other. They certainly can't speak to each other. It is amazing to watch and thrilling.
The nature of our photography with high-definition cameras and the light levels is there's generally only one person we can have in focus at the same time in the scene. So We, by talking to the director and the director of photography and what the story dictates, we'll focus on what's important for the audience to see. So I actually guide the audience's attention through the shot based on what's right for the story and the director and the input from the director of photography.
It's such a seamless operation, and it happens very, very rarely in the business that you'll get a crew who are completely in sync with each other.
That's Dan. He's the 8-camera second assistant.
Hello.
Slash camera operator. Slash camera operator. Slash crane tech. So make sure all this works right and it doesn't fall off.
The swinging motion of the myxoma intermittently blocked the flow of blood through the right atrium.
I think it worked well, didn't she?
Today's my last day, so they gave me like a card and a present. Wow.
Does it work?
Yep. It's funny.
As we see our actors come down the stairs, even that one wall with that dressing there can read that there's an entire upstairs to the house, you know, with the kitchen and everything. So a lot of detail up there.
I know that it just looks like endless men in jeans just wandering in and out. I know that's what it looks like. And there's a great deal of structure and an enormous amount of skill that goes into every moment of this. Not from me, I hasten to add, but from everyone else. Our job really as actors is to be worthy of the extraordinary skill and detail that goes into these amazing sets. In fact, if you can come with me without falling over, so watch your feet. In fact, I'll watch your feet for you. You're all right, you're all right. I ask you to train your camera on the texture of this cement. 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 Now listen to this. Not cement. How do they do that? How do they do that? Well, the answer is they have a plasterer, they have a man with a trowel, and decades of experience and skill doing this, who just does the most incredible job. And it's absolutely heartbreaking that details like this very often don't get on the screen.
You think she'd even let Emily down here?
Yeah. Apparently a lot.
Cut. Very good.
Good.
The design and the construction and the of our art department is just unparalleled. I've just never seen anything like it. And the fact that they generate these things almost a matter of hours. That Jeremy's there and he will sketch it up at 10 o'clock in the morning. And there's a guy going at 12, and there's someone painting it at 3, and then we're acting on it at 5. I mean, it's absolutely extraordinary. Sometimes you come in and if you touch the wall, it's slightly tacky because the paint's still drying as you move in. And we are going to. This set is going to be on the screen for about a minute.
We like to create reality. That's the most important thing. And so when everyone walked into that set, you felt like you were in a basement because it had a ceiling and it had all the feel of a real basement. And we create that as a team as much for the actors as we do for what gets seen on screen.
Oh, see? Thought that was iron. It's not. That's painted PVC. How do they do that? How does a painter come in and paint rust like that well? With all the drips and the sealant that's actually gone gunky around there. We go to all this trouble to convince you that this basement is real. And now here am I to show, look, it's all plywood. Why am I doing that? Why am I deliberately undermining the illusion that we've worked so hard to create? There's the scene and then there's behind the scene. And, you know, I suppose one can enjoy both. I hope one can enjoy both. Because if I've spoilt the scene for you by showing you the basement set, that would be a pity. And I would regret that. In which case you just have to erase this incredibly tedious soliloquy from your mind and go on about your business.